This is a sports catastrophe production. Hey there, hello there. It's Jeff Cutter Dunn welcoming you to another sports catastrophe birthday boy. There's no on this day for June the 5th because I couldn't find anything nice about June the 5th. Weird. But hey, it is what it is. So anyway, today I'd like to tell you about the sprinter at the top of the steps. That is John Carlos, winning the 200-meter race at the Olympics. Winning the bronze, as Tommy Smith was the gold medal winner. John Carlos is on the right-hand side in third place. The silver medalist was Australia's Peter Norman. So anyway, John Carlos was a pretty good sprinter and all that. Basically, I usually run down like how old he is and all that. And I guess I should tell you, John Carlos today is 76 years old, born June 5th, 1945, so he's 76. But basically, his gesture at the 1968 Olympics was basically one of huge ramifications. Basically, John Carlos and the gold medal winner Tommy Smith, who were African Americans, decided to raise a black gloved fist on the podium while the Star Spangled Banner was played. Basically, as a sign of trying to say that blacks are better than white. Blacks should not be hurt in the company of everything. They were actually barefooted too. So once the anthem finished, they had raised their hands. The silver medalist Peter Norman wore human rights badges on their jackets. Basically, Tommy Smith said that the gesture was not a black power salute, but a human rights salute. So at the 200 meters race, October 16, 1968, Carlos ended up third behind Tommy Smith, who won the 200-meter race at a record 19.83 seconds. Peter Norman took second from Australia, and John Carlos took third. It was amazing. The two American athletes received their medals shoeless, but wearing black socks to represent black poverty. And Smith wore a black scarf around his neck for black pride. Carlos had his tracksuit top unzipped to show solidarity with blue-collar workers in the U.S. and a necklace of beads. Anyway, actually, both U.S. athletes intended to bring black gloves to the event, but John Carlos forgot his. And then Carlos wore Smith's left-handed glove. Carlos raised his left hand, not his right hand, because the black power salute was to the right. But that's why Carlos raised his left hand, because of the left-handed glove. The fans booed them, obviously. The IOC was not too happy with this. Avery Brundage, who was the president, said it was domestically, politically unfit for the international forum the Olympics were supposed to be. He basically ordered Smith and Carlos suspended and banned from the Olympic Village. The U.S. Olympic Committee said, no way. Brundage said, well, the U.S. track team must be banned and all that. So they had to be expelled. And all that. Fortunately, though, Smith and Carlos were not forced to return their medals. Unfortunately, Brundage, as IOC president, was full of controversy, basically, putting up all the amateur stuff and having a snit if you even owned like a restaurant or something like that. I don't know. Brundage's policies were pretty much dour and all that. And the worst part is Brundage had no objections against Nazi salutes in the Berlin Olympics. I guess basically he knew he had to cower to the Germans. And I think Brundage was accused of being one of the U.S.'s most prominent Nazi sympathizers. And the Olympic Project for Human Rights said that basically one of their statements was to get Avery kicked off being president of the IOC, but he was till 1972. However, the U.S. sporting establishment ostracized them, and they were subject to criticism. Basically, Smith and Carlos, their family got the abuse and death threats and all that. Tommy Smith actually continued in athletics, playing in the NFL with the Bengals before becoming a professor of physical education at Oberlin College. Carlos actually led a similar path. He actually tied the 100-yard dash world record the following year, and he tried football. He had to try with the Eagles, but failed, and then the Alouettes had him for 1 year. Unfortunately, John Carlos had to deal with a lot of depression, especially with the fact that his wife committed suicide. But John Carlos helped organize the 1984 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles, so there was a good hope for him and all that. Smith and Carlos were given the Arthur Ashe Award in the 2008 ESPYs. All that. Unfortunately, Australia was not too kind to Peter Norman, who was sympathetic to the protest and basically was ostracized by the Australian media. And he was not sent to the 72 games, even though that he could have qualified. Peter Norman was not allowed to be anywhere near the 2007 Olympics in Sydney. However, the Americans decided to put him on their team to help him out. Peter Norman died in 2006. Smith and Carlos were pallbearers at his funeral. The Australian House of Representatives in 2012 decided to apologize to Norman. All that. A couple of tributes and all that. So San Jose State has a tribute to the Black Power salute, or whatever the salute was. All that. So yeah, John Carlos was an icon, and rightfully so. I mean, to do that in the face of the IOC and try to help Black people around the world. It didn't completely work, but it worked to the sense that people were now making discussions about it. All that. And the best part is, even though the Carlos and Smith both faced a lot of criticism, they didn't take the high road, the low road, and kill themselves. They stood tall. They basically told everyone, "We're still here. Come and get us." And basically, they made a lot of rationalized statements for the Black community. And isn't that the best part of things? Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. Ado.